Hi, thank you so much for clicking onto our video and for being curious to find out more about Little Red. In this video we're going to tell you more about Little Red and the story. We're going to tell you more about what brought us together, the passion we share that led us to create this tale, and our purpose and vision for the book. So I'll let Leroy begin. Tell us how it all started.
Ooh, well, for me, we're going to go right back to childhood because that's really informed this story. For me as a young person, growing up, my dad had severe mental health. We're growing up in poverty on an estate that's very white. I'm from a mixed background. My dad's black and white and then converted to Islam. So we've got all these kind of layers of intersectionality, and often at school, in my communities, I'm being bullied for being different, and I feel very different. And coupled with that kind of religion, and then also questioning myself and my identity, my sexuality, it was confusing, but also very isolating. You know, you feel so different. All you want is to be like everybody else, be accepted. So fast forward into my teens, I became a youth worker, working with children, young people, communities, really working with marginalised communities, looking to empower their voices, overcome barriers to access, raising their voice to have input into what was happening in communities. And then fast forward on, after a career working in inclusion and diversity. I've not got children myself, but you know, my sisters, there's children everywhere. And with them, we're always playing these games that's around acting like different animals. My nephew, he's autistic and he's so creative, coming up with animals like a twerking spider. Twerking spider. And he does the actions. And gay dolphin. He did. Gay dolphin, that's a good one. We should write that down. That can go in book number 2. Number 2, gay dolphins. And so I wanted to create this book that kind of brought that element together of animals and children playing whilst learning at the same time, and learning about inclusion and diversity and different people in the world. And then I met you. So I met you, and then obviously we had those we've got so many shared values, and though we've got different experiences, we share a lot of values, don't we? What do you think? Sure. What do you think that is? Why have we got that connection on that?
Well, like you say, we share a lot of values and a lot of passion. We very quickly in our friendship began to talk about our life experiences, and we connected over what we've overcome in our lives, for sure. And we talked a lot about one of our shared passions, which is mindset. And we just found quickly and then continually that we really felt like this strong sense of purpose to inspire in others that sense of overcoming that we found in ourselves. And yeah, I mean, such a beautiful thing that we share, that we've been able to pour into a book for children. Yeah.
Beautiful. First coffee, we went deep straight away, didn't we?
We did. We went deep straight away.
But it's so nice that we can connect in that way. And,
I know, yeah.
We have so much shared values and how we see the world, and the impacts that we want to make in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, with this book, obviously, we've put in a lot of lessons in there, and it's kind of taken from stories that we've shared with each other, and a lot of it's kind of come from some personal experiences that you've had in your life. What do you want to tell us about how that's come into the book?
Yes, I have such a complicated background. I grew up in the Middle East. I immigrated to the UK when I was 11, and before that I spent a year in Alabama, of all places, so you can imagine what a culture shock that was. this little Middle Eastern girl moving to Alabama, and I went to a Methodist school as well. I have stories. So yes, what you were saying earlier about being different is something I'm very familiar with, as you well know. And yeah, obviously then moving to the UK, another culture shock, and fast forward to a few years later, I have been estranged from my own parents since I was a teenager too. So a key theme for us in this book, as Leah already touched on, about being different, what makes us different and alienated from others, or what we perceive as being alienated from others, and how we overcome that. And one of them is family dynamics. We've both had difficult family dynamics and looked around us and felt so isolated. And so many people share in this feeling, don't they? And what we've learned as we've got older is there are so many people out there that feel the same way, but we feel different. So we are so inspired to make those people feel that they're not so different, and actually we can bond with each other over these differences in such a powerful way. And what makes us different when we're younger actually is such a strength when we grow, if we can overcome.
Can be, right?
Yeah, it can be so powerful.
And that's that little nugget in here, isn't it? It's for those children to not see their difference as a weakness, and if they can find strength and power in that and overcome that,
exactly, like that, yeah,
we've managed to. But you know, there's parts of us where we feel like we're now in a place that we've learned from lessons, that we want to instill that in children, don't we? We want them to have this insight in these lessons that we've already gained.
Yeah, and teaching isn't about telling someone to learn a lesson, it's about inspiring something inside them. And so through this story, one of the obviously key themes that we briefly touched on in our first video is about physical disability. Little Red is missing a limb, and he's the main character of the story, and it's all about, you know, how he overcomes his feelings of isolation, his overthinking, and the bonds he creates through expressing his feelings. And so the inspiration for this is from my brother Abdullah, who lost his leg when he was 23 after suffering from a rare bone cancer, and he is so inspiring in how he's overcome what happened to him. And he is so sorry, I get a bit emotional. But he's so physically fit and climbs and pushes past the boundaries of his disability all the time. And he's such a special person, and it felt amazing to be able to pour that, like, my feelings towards what he's overcome into this book as well.
So special.
Little Red feels like such a mesh of us both and my brother, and it just, he represents so much to us both, doesn't he? And he's such
a courageous little creature,
and he's so lovable. He's he's very, I mean, one of the things, like, I would say throughout my younger years that always made me feel a bit alienated was my love of books. And when you move around school to school, it's hard to make friends everywhere you go. And I would sit in the library and I would read, and with a difficult family situation and moving around a lot, and books for me were such a source of comfort. Took the words right out of my mouth. We finished each other's sentences now. Comfort, inspiration, and escapism a lot of the time. And you grow and you think about those books and you think about how they made you feel, and then you really understand as you get older what you took from them. So many things that you read or, you know, watch or whatever you absorb and that you connect with, you don't really understand until later why you connected with them so much, right? And so I really feel in this story of Little Red, we have created something that adults will love too and connect with on so many levels, and that children will connect with and then think about as they grow, and it will impact them in how they see the world, I hope.
Oh, absolutely. We fully have faith and belief in that the book will have impact into children's lives.
Yeah.
And ripple effects from that.
Yeah.
You know, we think that there's the children that are going to read the book and see themselves in the stories, right?
Exactly.
But then there's also the other children who maybe don't see themselves in the story. They'd normally be in all the other stories, you know? But actually reading this, they kind of develop that understanding, that respect for children that are different. So it's this like dual approach where we're just wanting everybody to be kind or nice or more understanding, like value friendships, overcome adversity. There's so much in there where we want the book to really impact how children see each other, and see themselves and then see each other, right?
Yeah, well, one of our core beliefs is that the compassion you build starts with what's normalized around us when we're young.
Yeah.
And so that was something that really brought us together, isn't it? That if we can bring something to the mainstream that really does that in a fun, memorable, lovable way, then it would be amazing, wouldn't it? And that's our vision.
Absolutely. And obviously we've mentioned around the main character, Little Red, and kind of his starting point, you know, his sort of what might be his barrier, adversity that he overcomes. But through the story, we've woven some really nice stories and characters in to touch on lots of different elements of diversity, haven't we? And down to the names that we've carefully chosen and used. To the characters, their stories, the ways that they kind of teach and pass lessons on. There's so much in the book that touches on lots of elements to create children to feel kind of more accepting of others, right?
And excited and inspired by others, right? Because ultimately that's what life is about. It's about us inspiring each other, and like life is too short for these barriers we have, thinking people are better than each other through physical disability or through their family background.
For me, it's definitely one of the things that I think about is my nephew. You know, he has this label of being autistic, but he's in school, in family, that's seen as something that's going to hold him back, something where he's not going to be able to achieve as much with his life. But I want him to read this story, to feel inspired, to kind of raise his aspirations, to feel like it's not something that's going to hold him back. To feel like, you know, he can achieve great things in life, he can be the hero in the story. That's exactly what I want for him and for lots of other children.
Yes, that's the dream. And we want to take this book into hospitals, into schools, and read it to children ourselves. That's something we talked about from the very beginning, isn't it? And still drives me and warms my heart.
Oh my God. I just, you know, my niece, she's drawn those pictures. And I just think when children are seeing these characters that are missing a limb or different sexualities, different parents, when they're seeing those people as their kind of idols, the, you know, the people that they're looking up to or wanting to be or seeing themselves in, like that's what excites me when children start to celebrate these people.
Absolutely.
So exciting. So what are our next steps?
So over the next few weeks we will be doing a Q&A, so send us your questions. We will also do a short reading of the book. Wait till you hear Leroy's animal voices.
I do love an accent.
Scottish bunny, that's all I've got to say. I can't do any accents, so don't expect much from me. I'm the narrator.
This is an accent.
So yeah.
Yeah, so get behind us, like, comment, share. If you know anybody who might be interested in this book, please let them know about it. I think you'd agree that this book is well needed. Let us know, have you ever felt different, or do you worry about a child in your life being different? I think you'd agree that this book is something that we need to get out into the mainstream. We want every child that needs this book to be able to read it. So, we'll see them soon, won't we?
Yeah, see you soon.
See you soon.
Thank you so much for listening.
Over and out.